This story is based on a rare book written about the Ismaili community in Syria. On the cover of the book, you can see the glowing image of Masha Fort, the same fort that once belonged to Rashid Al Din Sinan. Our story begins at a time when the Seljuk armies had taken over Damascus and other parts of Syria. The Ismailis in Syria had lost their forts. They were very few in number and divided after the split with the Mustalian branch. They were in a state of fear and chaos. Their only hope was far away, in Iran, at the famous Alamut fort where the legacy of Hasan Sabah was still alive. But this story takes place after Hasan Sabah had passed away. Even his close successor, Muhammad bin Qiyamah Buzurg, was no longer alive. A new era had begun after Imam Hassan, Zikrihi al-Salam, declared the spiritual resurrection. Syria was silent, but it was the silence before a storm. Suddenly, a general named Buri attacked Damascus. Thousands of innocent Ismailis were killed. Fear spread everywhere. People started to think that any sound, any footstep, or any shadow could be an attack. According to the book, the Ismailis had no leader who could give them hope or fight for justice. It was then that the Imam from Alamut called upon his loyal Fidis, the elite soldiers of the faith. Among them was a brave man named Rashid Al Din Sinan. The Imam sent him to Syria. When Sinan arrived, no one knew who he really was, but he was a master of war tactics, political wisdom, and deep loyalty. The same Buri who had killed many Ismailis was later assassinated by 2 Iranian Fidis. This was not murder for power. This was part of a sacred mission that started with Sayyidina Hasan Sabah. The enemies called them assassins, but in truth, they were not killers. They were protectors of the faith, defenders of the innocent. Page 40 of the book tells us that the Ismailis in Syria were so weak that many had disguised themselves as Sufis, or moved to other cities like Aleppo and Hama for work, or even ran far away to find safety. In 1151 AD, the Crusaders attacked and captured a small Ismaili state. In those times, no one could lead better than Sinan. When word spread that the Imam had sent Sinan, the Syrian Ismailis accepted him as their leader. As soon as Sinan took charge, he started to observe everything. He removed corrupt leaders, strengthened the fort walls, trained the army, and formed a new group of Fidis, just like Hasan Sabah once did. He also began using pigeons for sending messages safely and quickly. He ordered repairs to Rasafa Fort and Kawabi Fort. But before enemies could attack again, Sinan himself took control of Qalat al-Kaf, Qadmus, and Alayka forts. Some historians say Sinan made all these decisions alone, but the book mentions a letter from Alamut asking Sinan to release a prisoner named Rais Fad, probably a direct order from the Imam. No one else had the authority to command Sinan. The book also tells how non-Ismaili writers often misunderstood Sinan. For example, the Spanish traveler Ibn Jubayr claimed that Ismailis started calling Sinan a god, but no trustworthy source supports this. Another writer, Ibn Khalakhan, even wrote the word Sinani for the Fidis. These writers had easy access to the market, but the Ismailis' own books were not available to the public. Some even wrongly said Sinan read Sufi works like those of Ibn Arabi or Rumi, but the truth is, he only followed the orders of Imam Hassan al-Zikrihi al-Salam. The book also talks about Sinan's connections with Nur al-Din and Salahudin Ayyubi. Sinan and Nur al-Din exchanged harsh letters, but it's unclear if it became full-blown conflict. However, with Salahudin, things were different. Salahudin ended the Fatimid rule and even destroyed their books. During Sinan's time, 2 attacks were made on Salahudin. People blamed Sinan's Fidis. But the goal wasn't to kill. It was to send a message, to spread fear like Hasan Sabah once did. One story says a dagger and a letter were found in Salahudin's tent. The letter said, "If we wanted, you wouldn't be alive. We just came to remind you, we are awake, we are present, and we will protect our people." No blood, no killing, just a message. That was Sinan's style. Smart, calm, clear. Page 54 says, when Salahudin attacked the fort while Sinan was away, the Fidis fought back from all directions, and Salahudin had to retreat. Some sources say his uncle, Emir Shihab al-Din, helped stop the fight. But Ismaili author Abu Firas writes that Salahudin once found a dagger and a threatening letter on his bed, a clear sign that even his army wasn't safe from the Fidis. That fear made Salahudin offer peace to Sinan. Later, both sides made peace. Some stories say Ismaili Fidis even fought alongside Salahudin in the Battle of Tiberias, though Salahudin got all the credit.